I'm going to show you how to make this really cute angel decoration for the holidays. What you're going to need for this project is 24 gauge wire, and you're going to need a piece of ribbon. It's the kind of fabric ribbon that has a wire on each side. And then you're going to need a whole bunch of beads, different sizes, around 6mm, and then one large, about 10mm for the head. And how we're going to start is we're going to actually take our wire and just do a little turn on the end so all the beads don't fall off. And then you're going to start beading onto the wire. And you can probably do a pattern is the nicest way to do it. If I'm doing it with little kids, you know, I just get them to put them any way they want. If they want to do a pattern, fine. And if they don't want to do a pattern, that's fine too. So once you have about 5 inches of beads on your wire, you're going to undo the little loop you did on the end, and you're going to put your two ends together like that. And then what you want to do is actually take one of the last beads, and you're better to end with a bead that has a bit of a larger hole, and you're going to put the opposite side wire through that last bead. So you want to have both wires through the last bead, and you're going to push it down like that so you have both wires through that bead. And then what you want to do is get your head bead. So you're going to get your head bead here, and you want to make sure before you start the project that your head bead has a big enough hole that both of those wires are going to go through it. That's why I use 24 gauge, because it's a little thinner. Okay, so this part's a little bit tricky. You're going to have it all set up like that. And actually, before you put the wings on, you can clip them a little bit. So we have this piece of wired ribbon that's about 4 to 5 inches long. And then you can actually cut the ends in a little bit of an angle, like that. I'll just cut them on a wee bit of an angle, like that. And then what you want to do is actually between the head and the last bead, you're going to carefully open up the wires and slide this ribbon through the two wires. Now if you've watched my other videos, you might recognize this sort of technique. I've done the same kind of techniques when I make a dragonfly decoration, and for the wings I just slide the wings between the two wires, and it makes a nice effect. So it looks funny like that because it's very wide, but then you do a little bit of magic. You go abracadabra-cadoo, and you take your head bead and you just squish it down like that. So then these get bunched up, sort of like you're sewing. You just gather them up a little bit, and you can wiggle them around a bit and adjust them a bit if you have to, but you really want this to be down quite snug. So what I do now to really get it snug in place is I take one of the wires and I wind it around a couple of times like that. So we'll just wind it around, and then we're going to cut it. And then we're going to get our round pliers, and then we're going to just push that to the side, okay, and then just form a little bit of a halo. Just takes a little bit of wiggling around. So you want a kind of a halo shape like that. And then either hold it with your flat pliers or just with your fingers, twist it around another few times to secure it in place. And then we're going to clip this nice and tightly in there. Wiggle this around a little bit. And this is where you can manipulate the ribbon a bit, because it is a wired ribbon, so it's going to be able to be formed into a nice shape. This part too, you're going to wiggle this around to make a kind of a teardrop shape. And there you have your beautiful little angel ornament, and you can attach a little ribbon at the top and hang it on your tree.